when people tell me you have to be able to hit kids, I know that's not true because I make part of my living helping parents with discipline problems. And if I were wrong, I wouldn't be able to make part of my living that way. So it's just not necessary to hit kids. So what do we have to do? Well, first of all, we need to prevent discipline problems from occurring. And the way we do that is from the earliest age, we start to teach children to do the right thing because it's the right thing. Now, parents will say, yeah, but what are you going to do about a 2-year-old who runs out in the street? Okay, we have a whole science of behaviorism. And behavioral techniques are based on the assumption and backed by research that the best way to change behavior is with reward and praise rather than punishment. So what we do is we use what's called conditioning techniques. It's very simple. I've done it with all 3 of my kids. I've done it with other people. So let's take the 2-year-old. And the parent comes in and says, well, I don't want my child to run out in the street. I got to smack him. Well, I say, what's the child's word for ouch? And they say, they'll say it's owie. I take your child out every day, point to the street, the curb, and say, owie, owie, that's an owie. And in 2 or 3 weeks at the most, the child, I guarantee, will not go out into the street because what you've done is you've paired the word owie, which to him means pain, with the setting, and he's going to avoid it. I mean, this is very simplistic. It's like a rat won't go in a cage where he's been shocked, or that looks like a cage where he's been shocked. So it's the same thing. Parents say to me, well, my 2- and 3-year-olds are exploring, are getting into bad things and so forth in the house. Well, simple solution. And I love to say this, God programmed the 2-year-old to explore the environment. You're undoing God's work when you punish them for doing that. And so what you need to do is very simple. Child-proof your house. And they're child-proofing kits. Listen, if Aunt Matilda's favorite vase is on a low coffee table, don't make it a battle between you and the kid to see who gets to it first. Take it away, put it away until the child's 4 or 5 and understands they're not supposed to pull that down. But the other thing is just as dealing with temper tantrums, ignore them. Why get violent with the kid? The kid's getting violent with a temper tantrum. You're going to smack him? That doesn't work. When you need to punish a child, which you shouldn't have to do often if you raise a child, to internalize discipline. If you convince the child, persuade the child to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do and they understand it, you're not going to have many problems. You'll have some maybe because there are developmental stages and we have to understand what's appropriate. So for a 2-and-a-half-year-old, 3-year-old to have a temper tantrum, it's appropriate. It's no reason to punish and beat the kid. Ignore it. Ignore a lot of their minor misbehavior. When the child pushes the button, walk away. Don't lose your temper on the child because you're teaching the child to lose the temper. But also use timeout. Timeout's very effective. If you're using it repeatedly, it's no more a punishment. It means that it's not working. But if you always reason with the child, give the child some limited options, such as if you don't put that cookie down before dinner, then you're going to miss TV. He makes the option. He picks the cookie up, he misses TV that night. And then follow through. Always, always follow through. Never make a threat to a child that you're going to do something and not follow through. That's the major thing I see happening in lots and lots of parents who have problems with the kids. Several of the books I've written talk about this. We've done 2 studies of all the discipline training manuals that are available. And we've kind of boiled this stuff down to something like 40 or 50 things you can do to help children. There's 7 or 8 categories of things you can do. And most of these programs, except for some that are religiously oriented, like Dobson's Dare to Discipline and so forth, almost all of them say don't hit kids. And then they give you the alternatives. Now, the fact is, there's something wrong with us if we can't raise children without hitting. The whole societies do. And we know, and I'm sure other people on your show talk about countries like Sweden and Norway and Finland and so forth that raise children without hitting where it's illegal. We know that the American Indians didn't hit their children. We know that there are cultures that do it. There's lots of evidence of children like my own who were never hit that grow up all right. They're not violent people. So why add more violence to our culture? Now, I'm not saying that there aren't other reasons that cause child abuse, but here's a consistent story that we find. Yeah, plenty of kids survive. There are kids who are survivors. There are kids who are able to deal with the horrible things in life. Almost every one of these kids had somebody good in their life. And so the point is that even though we know kids survive and they can find maybe one, why hit? It's not necessary. So what we need to do is train people in all the effective alternatives. And in my 30 years as a family therapist, I found that there are many effective alternatives. I always get the parents to stop hitting their kids. Some I can't. They moderate it a lot. But when I can get them to stop hitting the kids and start catching kids being good and doing positive things for the kids, it works. And the kids change, and they change. So there's no reason to hit kids. Corporal punishment is one tool of discipline that's unnecessary. There are hundreds of other tools: catching kids being good, rewarding them, praising them, teaching proper morality, and so forth. So it's just nuts to do it.